right, started to record. We're experimenting here via Zoom. And yep, we're live. We are live. This is your host, Jim Wrestle, with Vibes and Sosa.
Sosa in the building.
And welcome.
My house.
And welcome to another season 3, episode 1 of Choked Out Radio. Due to the coronavirus, we're doing it remote. So we're doing the best we can from home. So so hopefully everyone stays safe, and please listen to your government officials and stay home as much as possible, right? So, all right. So this is taped in the middle of the crisis. We're going to begin talking about the Elimination Chamber 2002 is our inaugural episode for season 3. So that was the first Elimination Chamber. And of course, won by Shawn Michaels at the end. But Rafi, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the overall chamber?
Seeing that we were actually there for the event, it was a solid show up and down. I loved it. Just being there, witnessing it, the first time ever Elimination Chamber, a hardcore match for the women's title. Getting to see, going from seeing the Dudleys where we used to watch them on Queens Boulevard to now they're at the Garden. Like, it was just, it was pretty awesome, man. It was one of my favorite live shows to ever attend.
Yeah. Sosa?
Unfortunately, I wasn't there. Thanks for the invite, guys. I wasn't invited. But
That's a lie.
Like Vibe said, that show was absolutely amazing from top to bottom. I mean, it's Madison Square Garden, pretty much 90% of the shows at the Garden are great. WWE always puts on a great show. But like you guys mentioned, that was the first time ever the Elimination Chamber was debuted. And the 6 stars that they had in that match, you had Michaels, Jericho, Kane, Booker T, Triple H, and RVD. That's right. Rob Van Dam. Yeah. And it was absolutely amazing. I mean, especially compared to the last Elimination Chamber that we saw.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But it was great, man. Great show.
Yeah, man. So the genesis of that was they wanted to do something different, right? So they obviously had the Hell in the Cell already gimmick, right? They had the traditional steel cage as well. So at the time, I guess they still didn't want to, everyone said War Games, and they finally did the War Games in NXT years later, but they wanted to combine the Royal Rumble with War Games. What are your thoughts on the whole concept of the chamber and the pods and all that, Ruff? We'll start with you.
I thought it was different. It did kind of have like a War Games vibe to it, but it was more of a like their own concept. So instead of teams, it's like every man for themselves, which I thought was pretty cool. Would I have liked to see War Games? Absolutely. But the Garden, it would have never worked. So they had to come up with the next best thing, which was, let's design this cage, 4 different pods, six competitors. I thought it was a pretty cool concept. It was similar to like Hell in the Cell because it had the top, but there was no trying to escape. It was just inflict as much punishment. And this was, if you notice the chambers now compared to the first one, there was no mats. It was like
all
they
steel,
were actually
literally.
It was all steel.
16 tons of what is it?
Yeah. So like they were legit getting hurt. I think Triple H got hurt in this match, didn't he?
He hurt his trachea. RVD crushed his trachea in that match.
Yeah. And he continued the match.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did that, but that's Triple H for you, man.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Sosa? Like on the backstory of it, like, trying to combine the Rumble with the War Games.
Yeah, it was a great concept. I mean, this was another great concept that was created during the
Ruthless Aggression
era. Because we've never seen this type of match before. It was like a combination of Hell in the Cell, and you have like you said, war games, but it was just out of control with these. When it got debuted and you see these 4 pods, you're like, what the hell is this for? And then
Right.
when the match started, and after a while, you start seeing like what I love is the lights. When it's time for the competitor to come in, you see the lights blinking, like, all right, who's it gonna be? And then it's just boom, you see, the pods open, the competitor comes in, but it's great, it's just keeps you on your toes the entire time. And it's also like very important, like who are the 2 people that begin that match? Because I
Absolutely.
think they go on for what, 5 minutes,
Yeah.
right?
And the next competitor comes in.
Exactly. So that's very important. But yeah, man, it was great.
Do you think it would have worked with like alternative competitors, or you thought it was the right 6 for that matchup? Anybody else they could have put in that match? You think, or you thought it was well?
During that
No,
time, I mean, me personally, like during that time in 2002, those 6 opponents, I mean, they're all from Raw.
Yeah, there's a Raw. It was a
I stand
Raw.
corrected,
Right.
right? They were Raw. That was
Yeah,
because
they didn't
that's when
split the shows yet. Yeah, brand split happened, but they were sharing like the pay-per-views, right? So that was a Raw concept.
yeah. I mean, I feel like they throw Kane in all these matches. I feel
Right.
like they're like, hey, we need somebody.
It's cocaine.
But
I know. He's always
other
reliable.
than that, Booker T, who was the standout, huge standout that came over from the invasion angle. The same thing with RBD representing ECW. Then you have Jericho, who lost his championship, the unified titles, and I think he was co-champion right at that time. He was, him and Christian were tag team champions or something like that on Raw, I believe. But he was in that match as well. Then you have Triple H, obviously, who's the champion. Kane, who was intertwined in this feud with Triple H, and the infamous Katie whatever
Yes,
Vic.
Katie Vic. Yes.
And then you had HBK, who freaking
Came
you
out of
know
retirement.
yeah, came out of retirement, and I mean, being in a match like that, and you come back a few months before is kind
Yeah.
of insane, in my opinion. But yeah, I think at that time you had a perfect mix of wrestlers in that match.
Yeah, man. I want to take a step back a couple of months back. So with the whole Brock being exclusive to SmackDown, being the WWE champion, the titles were disputed, as they say. They just anointed Triple H the World Heavyweight Championship. Do you feel? I always felt they should have had some type of tournament or at least like something for it. What do you think of him just being anointed, Ralphie?
that just added more fuel to the fire for these marks that like
Right.
hated his guts. Like, oh, here's the golden shovel,
Right.
But I think they should have had like a battle royal, and the last 2 guys compete for the title, or had a ladder match or something.
Right.
But just flat out like, hey, here, this is for you. Like, I thought that
Yeah.
was. I thought it didn't make any sense. I like that they touched on it in the ruthless aggression
They did. That's why I
doc.
kind of wanted to bring that on.
Um,
I wanted to bring it up.
but I think it could have been done way different. The thing is, rumor has it that McMahon hates tournaments. I don't know why.
Why? I love tournaments.
And he didn't want to have one.
Why,
He was like,
why have a King of the Ring?
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
WrestleMania was a whole tournament once.
WrestleMania.
Exactly. 4.
Sorry, you're right.
It's okay. It's okay.
It was 4. And didn't Macho Man win that one?
No,
He won. Macho Man won it.
No, he didn't. It
What,
was
the-
a $1 Million Man.
Get
Oh,
out
yeah,
of
you're
here.
right. Shit, man. Yeah, fuck. You're right. I'm so bad, and I know all this history. It was Henry. Henry
Macho Man was fired.
skewing my results.
Macho Man was 5 records.
Hey, so the first matchup, Lance Storm and Regal defeated Goldust and Hurricane. I don't know. I don't remember the plot leading up into it, or the storyline leading up into it. Was this match any good?
That was on the free.
Oh, the pre-show. Probably.
I don't really remember the match too much. I actually have the chamber playing in the background right now.
Oh wow.
And the first match was actually the Dudleys against 3 Minute Warning.
And
It was a good match.
it's good.
It was weird not having Devon, but he had went to SmackDown as like a pastor.
Yeah.
But they beat the hell out of each other in this match.
That was a good match. That was a good tables match.
Like they literally
it was great.
Yeah.
beat the crap out of it. Oh, I'm sorry. It was the Dudleys and Jeff Hardy against 3 Minute Warning.
Mm-hmm. It was Spike and then Bubba with Jeff Hardy against 3 Minute Warning. Now, can you guys explain to me why Rico is with 3 Minute Warning?
I have no idea.
Rico, he was their manager.
Yeah, he was.
Right? But like, it's like they have nothing in common. They have nothing in common. I just don't get it.
It was the sideburns, man. That's what it was.
That's it.
The mutton chops.
So Kidman defeated JB Noble for the Cruiserweight Championship. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
Table. Oh, yeah, like whoever, you have to slam all three competitors, your opponents, whatever, in order for you to win. But if you watch the ending of that match, I mean, that was what stood out to me. That's when Devon actually comes out to save Bubba, and they reunite. I guess they realized their individual gimmicks wasn't working, and plus, it's the Garden.
Right.
Everyone in New York knows about the Dudleys. They made a name for themselves here in Queens, in the Madhouse of Extreme. So, yeah, man, I think that the finish was great, man.
I forgot that he came out, and I remember being there and losing my mind, yo. Now that I'm watching it on the screen, like it's coming back to me. We had pretty good seats for this event.
Where were you guys sitting at?
In like the 100 section.
The 100s, I don't remember where exactly.
I don't know why you didn't go.
Why did you go, Henry?
I have no clue. I don't remember. I don't know. I mean, I just remember watching it from home. But yeah,
Right.
I was hyped though, man, because HBK was in the match.
Of course.
But, damn, man, I should have went.
It's okay. 18 years later, it's all right, man. It's okay.
I know.
Kidman defeated Noble for the Cruiserweight belt. And he, was that? I don't remember that match too much. Ralph, what are your thoughts on that?
Kidman was always one of my favorites from WCW.
Me too.
I like that he came over,
Mm-hmm.
and he got to showcase his skills for a new audience. But I thought this match was good. Jamie Noble had a good gimmick because he was with Nydia, and the match was good for what it was.
Right,
it's just like weird because it like looking at it, Noble has like Kidman's gimmick, kind of from
right from WCW. Exactly.
But they put on a good match. They had good chemistry. Jamie Noble's a good wrestler. He doesn't get the respect that he deserves. Same thing with Kidman. I mean, Kidman's a trainer now.
Yeah.
With WWE, which is good.
They are both agents right now in the company.
I
think Kidman's a trainer, yeah, for in the Performance Center.
And Noble's an agent, right?
Yeah.
One of the road agents. I always felt Billy Kidman had more. I don't know. Like, he could have been main event. Why do you think he never hit it to the top? I mean, they tried WCW, they forced it, but why do you think he never hit it all the way to the top?
I think his size.
His
know how WWE was at this time was still a big man's territory.
Right.
You had to be something super special to break through, like a Shawn Michaels or like a Chris Jericho. I thought he had the potential. Maybe his charisma wasn't all there.
Right.
We discussed last season. He beat Hogan clean.
He beat Hogan, bro, clean. Millionaires Club versus the.
But
it was like
New Blood. New blood,
He
just
rising
never-
against the Millionaires Club, man. What do you know about that?
He
What a
just
story.
never got the break. I mean, at least he won gold, in WWE. He won, he won the
I guess the
cruiserweight
cruiserweight
title.
Cruiserweight.
Right. Right.
That's the only title he held
Yeah.
the whole time in that company. I mean, and like you said, it was his size. In my opinion, it was his size, and also he didn't like stand out.
Right.
Like he didn't have a gimmick for the fans to just go crazy about.
Right. He's a good worker, and that's it. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
He was.
But you have guys like Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio, who a couple years later won the championship. But they had gimmicks that the crowd could kind of, they could kind of cheer for.
Right.
Billy Kidman was just like a regular guy that could just wrestle, and
Right.
like think about Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was the same way in the
Yeah.
beginning, and
Yeah.
like he just, I guess with the yes movement or whatever, that's what got him over.
Yeah.
And now he's he's like one of the top guys in the company. So
Yeah. He just probably never got a gimmick, like a good gimmick for himself, right?
I think Kidman was too ahead of his time. Had he been now in this era, he would be like in the same category as like the what's it called? The Best Friends in AEW.
Right.
Or I could see him teaming with like Orange Cassidy, something like that. But he's too ahead of his time.
Your favorite wrestler.
Now, yes, I admit.
What?
Now, yes.
we need to have an AEW episode.
It's
like Ralphie now. I mean, Ralphie Vibes is just like now he loves it.
I'm sold. I'm sold on
it. AEW now.
I know. Who knew? Who would have thought, right?
No, it's unbelievable, yo. He turned. He just
I know.
turned
one day to the other.
It was after that pay-per-view. It was after the pay-per-view and the match against Pac. I got sold.
Yeah, sold. Yeah. All right, Ben. So Victoria defeats Trish for the hardcore match for the women's title. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Or looking back at this matchup?
That match. I think that was like the first women's hardcore match. I think. 'Cause I don't remember any other matches of that caliber with women before that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that match, they kicked each other's ass, man. Like they really used those weapons. And it was funny. They had an ironing board, which cracked me up. They had an ironing board in that match. And they actually like used it, man. It reminded me of when like we used to wrestle and see weapons in our matches. But it was great. It was great. Victoria went over. I think that was her first championship in the WWE. But yeah, those two women worked, man. They put on a hell of a show. Great match.
Rafi, what are your thoughts?
The hell out of each other, and being there live and seeing that, and the way the crowd reacted to the women's match, because women's wrestling wasn't as popular back then. No, I mean they had their chances to shine, but it wasn't like they never like they get now.
Right. Exactly.
So if you got time back then, like you had to take full advantage of it, and they went out there and they put on one of the best matches of the show. Right. They beat the holy hell out of each other. They used every single weapon they could, and they were not light about it. They beat the
didn't hold back. Yeah, they didn't hold back at all. I know. Yeah, man. I thought it was great. I thought it was great for its time. Like you said, they didn't give each the time like now. Like now they have pay-per-views or they have half an hour, but for 7 minutes they beat the holy hell out of each other.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Like sorry, but like Trish, man.
Yeah.
Trish. She started off as nobody expected her to like have these type of matches, and she went out there and she did her thing, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. She came from the fitness model world, and she, she trained her ass off, and look where, she trained all the way to become a champion, and eventually, and
Hall of Famer.
yeah, Hall of Famer. Exactly. All right, one of my favorite matches, the shortest matches on the card, but one of my favorite matches was Big Show who beat Lesnar. I love this match. I don't know why. I guess because the F5, the 500-pound man, Brock Lesnar. So Big Show defeats Lesnar for the championship. Paul Heyman turns heel. Like, what are your thoughts on this? On Lesnar? I guess this was like the redemption storyline, which led to WrestleMania 19. But what are your thoughts on Big Show defeating Lesnar? Ralphie, we'll start with you first.
At the time, it made sense because of the size of the Big Show and the way Brock was like running through everyone. He beat Hogan prior to this. He beat Taker. He beat Triple H. Embarrassed.
The Rock.
Flair. I still remember when he rubbed like Hogan's blood on his chest. Like, So for him to for the Big Show to beat him, even though, it was with outside interference, that crowd, I still remember the reaction to the crowd. People were like, what the F, and all this stuff, and going crazy. It was a good match. The psychology, the whole, like, Brock had bruised ribs, and Big Show had a messed up arm, and Paul Heyman, the facial expressions when he turned. It was good. It was put together well. Just Big Show looks like a freaking idiot in this match.
Why is he wearing jeans? Why is he wearing jeans?
I don't know. Jeans, and he has like a cop haircut.
That's right. I mean, that was I believe, like I mentioned earlier, that was a little bit after the draft, right?
Yeah, the draft happened spring 2002. This was like fall 2002. So yeah, a couple of months after.
A couple of months then. And I remember Big Show just being a jobber on Raw earlier in the year. And then I guess, he comes to SmackDown, and I guess he wants a gimmick change, he wants to be a badass now.
Right.
And freaking it was good. It was short but sweet. That's short but sweet. The heel turn, Heyman turning on Lesnar, that's like the focal point of the match, because that's what causes loss. But yeah, Brock Lesnar was on a tear, man. Like, he was defeating legend after legend. The weeks before that, and I mean, it's beyond me that Hogan, later on in his career, and Flair later on in his career had matches with Lesnar when he was in his prime. That blows me away. That blows me away, man.
I'm shocked they put him over.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that they even lasted more than 5 minutes with him in the ring.
Right.
But, it shows you that those guys are the best at what they do. Those are legends, But, yeah, man. Big Show came. I don't know if you guys remember, but I believe it was on SmackDown either the week before or 2 weeks before that Lesnar destroyed Big Show with chair shots. But he threw him into look it up, yo. It's disgusting. Okay. He threw him into the stairs, right, ringside, and Big Show went into it like forearm first. And it must have hit the corner of it, and his skin, and meat and everything rolled back. Like, it was.
I gotta check it out. I don't remember him having a cast or something for that match.
It was from that, and it was disgusting. I would have passed out if that happened to me. I don't know. It was just absolutely disgusting. But yeah, it was. It was short but sweet, and Big Show went over, gave him a champion. He won his. Was that his first world title win?
Big Show, that was his second. He won in '99. A couple of.
Yeah.
He forgot. He replaced Austin at the last second. Yeah. I know I'm going off topic. Because we have some time. I watched the Ruthless Aggression era and the special on the network. Austin, not wanting a job in the qualifier. What are your thoughts on his ball going home at the time and standing his ground? Ralphie, what are your thoughts on that? Everyone was jobbing to Lesnar except Austin at the time.
I thought it was a mistake because he didn't have to lose clean. He could have lost like count out, DQ, whatever. It just at least put him. Just have the match. It's a match that never happened. It's a match that he even said himself he regrets never doing. There was a lot of stuff with him going on, which I understand, but you know, I get what he was saying, like with proper
lack of build up. Yeah, he wanted to build like a paper.
Yeah, but they were just looking to pop a rating, and it was just like Austin Lesnar. You know, people were gonna tune in because it's like the biggest star versus the future and all this stuff, and it was like, why not have it? I get that he didn't want to do it because of the lack of build, but at the same time, like, you know, how many people did that before him? How many people did it for him?
Right, exactly.
He faced Macho Man for the I think for the TV title, the US title, or something like that, or they just had a match in WCW. No build. They just had like a 6-minute match.
Right.
You know, I don't know. I think it was a mistake, but I think there's like two sides, you know, to it.
Exactly.
Like it was a mistake, but it also he should have done it.
You can see that.
He could have had like a BS finish, like a count out or something. Like Paul Heyman could have interfered and whatever. But I know Brock was going to win the King of the Ring. Yes, we understand, but you know it could have had someone come out and it could have started a whole another long-term feud for him. You know that cost him the match.
Right.
I mean, Austin was already like almost on his way out, wasn't it? Like he was like contemplating retirement or something during that time.
Yeah, he was, and he'd become stale here and there. So so to me, I don't know. At least to me at the time, he fought Scott Hall at WrestleMania, but it wasn't the Rock Hogan moment, right? It was very let down that match, and after that,
I think Austin at that point was kind of tired. I guess he was just tired of. You know, you got to remember 2002, between 2001 and 2003, it was a weird time, you know, with the whole buying WCW, and then you have these guys coming over, and they had like the largest roster ever. And a lot of people were, you know, they were not on TV anymore the way they used to be. Austin is perhaps the biggest star of the Attitude Era. And he... You know, I think at that time he sold the most merchandise, right, ever for that company. But I think he also was let down with the whole WrestleMania thing.
I think so too.
18 with putting him against Scott Hall because it worked out. You know, Rock and Austin. I mean, Rock and Hogan. But I think deep down inside we wanted to see Rock and Austin and Hogan.
And Hogan, right? The best of the 80s versus the best of the 90s, right?
Yeah, I think that's at the end of the day, that's what I wanted to see. I know for sure. But, I mean, unfortunately, it worked out that way. But, I mean, it worked out eventually, you know. But, I don't know, man. I think Austin was just kind of tired. Like, he wasn't feeling it anymore, man. So, you think about it. You're going to put him in a match with Lesnar, who's destroying everyone. Like killing everybody, and then no build, like Ralphie mentioned. There's no build, and you're gonna put him in there, and most likely he's gonna get squashed. And I don't think Austin wanted that, you know. But
man,
I know he had like a lot of long-term injuries and
that too.
And stuff that he wasn't saying to anyone. He was just keeping everything on the hush. So that also could have had an effect on it. I mean, he went home for how much? Like a few months, right?
Like it's like 6 months. He came back No Way Out 03. He beat the crap out of Bischoff in a one-sided match, and eventually just fought The Rock. That was his last wrestling match ever at WrestleMania 19. So it was a very short time.
Well, you know? The night prior to 19, he was in the hospital.
Yeah, he was in the hospital, man. I think he OD'd on energy drinks and coffee. He drank too much of both, and he almost died. It's crazy, right? Think about that. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They was
I
well
think,
documented on the documentary, right? Like
yeah,
WrestleMania
the
19.
Austin documentary or something like
Or
no, the WrestleMania 19.
19.
Yeah,
I saw it
Oh,
somewhere. I don't know
I
where.
think it's
but-
on the network.
Nah.
I think.
Yeah, man. All right. So, sorry, I wanted to go off topic, but I felt it was important to kind of discuss that. So Los Guerreros, Chavo and Eddie defeated Edge and Rey Mysterio. Oh, and Chris Benoit and Angle. I guess it was a triple threat match. Triple threat elimination match for the tag team championship. What are your thoughts on this?
This was my favorite match because everybody in this match were workhorses, good chemistry. Like Benoit and Angle were feuding, and then they ended up teaming up. And Edge and Mysterio were a good team, and this is when the whole like just put random people together as a tag team started happening. But in this case, I don't know why. For some reason, it made sense. Like all these guys had crazy chemistry, and then Chavo and Eddie, they were obviously they're related, so they've been doing this for their entire life. But just the six of them together. Like I don't know, I just loved it. I love the match, the chemistry, the action. I remember like Mysterio was so over, and when he came out, the crowd erupted. Same thing with Eddie.
Yeah,
I mean they were heels, but like people still loved them.
Yeah. Henry, what do you? Sorry, Sosa. What are your thoughts on that? Sorry, I slipped. Who's Henry? Who's that guy?
It's all right. We'll edit this out. But my gosh, that match, like it was just nonstop action from beginning to end. I mean, you had your occasional like submission holds that they would put in the match, but it worked. It worked in the match. It was just to slow it down a bit. But these guys, I mean, they're the ones that were carrying SmackDown, if you think about it. Because week after week, they were having amazing matches, 5-star matches on SmackDown. And that's why during that time, SmackDown was getting better ratings than Raw. And it was because of those men in that match. I don't know the reasoning behind putting Mysterio and Edge together, or Angle and Benoit. I know, like you mentioned, they were feuding. Los Guerreros, they're family, so like you said, it worked out. But these guys, they all had chemistry. They all have chemistry in that match. I remember Mysterio taking a crazy bump off the top rope. It was Benoit. He was gonna, I guess, Mysterio ran to him and he like launched him over his head, and he was supposed to land on the top rope, but he slipped, and when he fell backwards, he landed right on his neck and on his head.
Ooh.
And I remember Eddie running over, like he was just outside on the rope, and he was telling him in Spanish, like asking him if he's okay. But Benoit or was it Angle? No, sorry, it was Angle. Angle was just going off on Ray, like he didn't let him like rest up or catch his breath. But luckily Ray wasn't hurt or anything. But that match, man, those guys, I don't know how. I think that match went on for like 20 minutes or more.
Yeah, 1925 to be exact. So almost 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes, and it was an elimination match. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing, man. And it was cool like watching on the network because I forgot like the different theme songs some of these guys had. Edge's song. I was like, wow. I forgot about that theme
This
song.
is pre Alter Bridge, right? Pre Metalingus.
Yeah.
This is like his old one. You think you know me?
And then you had Rey Mysterio with his it was like a reggaeton type of song. Booyaka, or whatever it was. I don't know. But nah, it was dope, man. It was great.
You know what was dope?
Los Guerreros won, right?
Those girls won, yeah.
You know what was
they won
dope?
The belts.
The tag belts. I like that it was kind of like the old school belt, but it had hints of blue in it. They need to bring these belts back, man. They need
I
to
know.
bring these championships back.
I don't like the Spartan belts.
No, I don't. They look like nickels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I hate those belts.
All right,
And it's
go ahead.
lazy too. Like I
Yeah.
feel like all Raw titles are red, and then
Exactly. All smacked on
title.
a blue, including the Universal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know. All right, then you have the main event, right? Obviously, Shawn Michaels won. The eliminations where RVD was first, eliminated by Booker T, and then Booker T got eliminated.
Wait,
Wait.
forgot one of
You know what I'm gonna mention?
you forgot one of the most important things.
What?
Probably the greatest debut in the history of WWE.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I forgot
Come
about
on.
that. Big Papa Pump. That's right. That's right. get into that. Let's get into that.
So
Break it down.
I had no idea he was gonna show up.
Right.
None. And at this point I was in like full Mark mode, and I knew everything that was gonna happen, and I had no idea that he was gonna come out. And when those sirens hit, I still remember I was going ballistic, yo, in the stand. I was going nuts. I felt like the only thing I didn't like about this is Matt Hardy and Chris Nowinski. They were making absolutely no sense whatsoever. Right. And I was just like, just shut up already. I think that's why the crowd went so crazy when Steiner came out, because it was just like, yo, shut the hell up already. Just kill these guys.
It was great. Like they were working the crowd. They were dissing New York. And I felt like it went on forever. Like they just kept going back and forth. And when the sirens hit, no one knew what the hell was going on. Like they were like, because nobody, and then all of a sudden when those doors opened and you see Steiner walk out, oh my God. What a moment, man. And he came out, absolutely destroyed those two guys. It was unbelievable.
I think he got hurt. I think he was hurt. His foot or something was broken or whatever. But he still came out and he still did what he had to do. And this was like the beginning of the end of all his injuries.
Yeah. I know. Such a letdown. Such a letdown later on. Yeah, it was letdown. He had a letdown time in
WWE career. Well, I mean, he was there years prior with, when he was with his brother, and they were the Steiner brothers. But as Big Papa Pump, that was his shining moment.
I think what destroyed his time here was feuding with Triple H.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah. That was such a bad match. Rumble 03.
Yeah, they had no chemistry with each other, and it just didn't work out. It didn't pan out the way they expected it.
It was a bad match too, wasn't it?
It was terrible.
It was horrible. It was one of the worst matches in the history of
mankind.
Exactly.
But and the thing is, like, if you have a bad match with Triple H, he's probably gonna, he's one of the top guys in that company, and he has a lot to say. He has a lot of pull there, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, I don't think Steiner's gonna work out here like that. And so they teamed him up with Test. I remember.
Yeah, exactly.
He hates Triple H, bro.
Yeah.
He hates him.
Yeah. I think that's why he's not in the Hall of Fame. He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame, man.
No, he won't.
Because of all the crap.
Yeah.
And he belongs in there, in my opinion.
Like, I'm watching him come out right now. The crowd's going ballistic.
Well, I want to talk about the main event, and then we'll wrap up this Chamber episode. So you have RVD, Booker T, Kane, Jericho, Triple H, and HBK. So did you like the way the eliminations occurred? Like RVD was first, Booker T second, Kane third, Jericho, and then Triple H. Fine, of course, is the last guy. Did you like the sequence? Did you like the sequence of the way it happened?
I thought it made sense. Everyone had a chance to shine. Like nobody came in and got like, squashed, and then you're out of here like they do now, where it's like.
Yeah,
I would be pissed, bro. Like, fucking fly all the way to the arena, just wait all day, and you get like 30 seconds, like in the ring. Like,
exactly.
Like this. Yeah. Everyone had a chance to shine. This like really showcased This was building people up, building stars.
Right.
This was the proper way to do it.
Right.
Like, just because you lost a match didn't like affect anything. Everyone got their stuff in. Everyone was able to shine and showcase, and you got to see people face off that you never thought you would see, like Booker T and RVD. When the hell you would ever see that? You know,
Exactly.
and Shawn Michaels and Rob Van Dam. Like that was a dream match for like years.
Right. Exactly.
And then I think the week after this, they faced each other on Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't a ladder match, right? It was just a regular match.
It was just a regular match, yeah.
I remember HBK slapping the shit out of RVD.
Yeah.
That match. or in a backstage promo, they did. Somebody got slapped, I remember. But damn, it was good. It was good. The eliminations, in my opinion, I think it worked out, you know, and it didn't like Rafi Vibes mentioned, it didn't. No one looked bad in that match. Everyone got their moves in. Everyone was over. Eventually, if you think about it, all of those guys became future world champions. RVD eventually got his time to shine. Booker T, Kane later on in the year, I think he won, or he won it prior.
He won it prior, and then he won it like later on in a decade. Like he finally won that heavyweight championship. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You know, HBK, I think this was his only title reign, right?
When he came back,
When he came back, yeah. Yeah, and it was short, thanks to Triple H.
It was short, man. I mean, it sucks. But, you know, I just can't believe
he took the title right back.
The golden shovel.
Right,
unbelievable.
I know.
Unbelievable.
I'm still mad that Booker T didn't have his moment in Seattle at WrestleMania 19. You know,
I'm about to watch when RVD crushes Triple H's throat.
His throat, good. I'm just kidding.
So you get it for burying.
For burying everyone, exactly.
That match.
It was too close.
I agree with you. WrestleMania 19. Yeah, but if you look at RVD, he just dropped on it. Like he didn't even he couldn't jump because his head.
He usually does the pump, the frog splash like that.
Triple H was too close. He should have been more in the middle.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how he couldn't see that match, man.
Oh my God.
I know.
I read that he was hospitalized for 2 days after that match.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy, man.
I know.
But
so Shawn Michaels wins it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that it created, you know, one of the feel-good moments of the year, or probably of all time, just seeing HBK win the championship at the Garden. You know, that was great, man.
And we were there.
Retired 4 years, came back, defeated Triple H. I believe that was supposed to be a one-off, right? Or was it planned for him to stay?
SummerSlam was supposed to be a one-off, but then he said that he felt fine, so he had like a part-time deal, like no house shows, but just like Raw and pay-per-views. I was happy with it, and then he ended up staying another 7 to 8 years.
Exactly, until 2010. It's crazy, right? Until retiring at WrestleMania 26. Think about that.
Putting on amazing matches after that too.
Classic.
Yeah. After classic, right?
That's him crazy. And Jericho, him and Angle.
We gotta do an episode like post HBK post retirement.
Yeah.
Retirement.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that I wanted to mention, since you mentioned the Ruthless Aggression era, no mention of HBK.
No.
There was they should have had an episode on just HBK.
Well, because it's coming, so we don't know.
Right, I mean, season 2 coming.
I honestly hope that they mention him, because he I mean, before he retired, I mean, obviously he was the man, you know. He was multiple-time world champion. You know, he was with the Rockers, and he was an IC champion, and he had a lengthy career before he even retired. I mean, he was there since the late '80s,
right?
Correct?
Yeah,
right?
late '80s. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had a long career, but after that, nobody expected him to last that long after he retired and returned. This guy lasted another 8 years, like you guys said, and it's not even like he was rusty. He was going out there.
He got better.
He got better.
Yeah, putting on just amazing 5-star matches. But I don't know why they didn't bring that up. They didn't bring that up at all, unless like you guys said, maybe
it's coming up, right?
They'll have an episode on him, which I think they should.
Yeah, I think so too.
He got better with time, and he helped put people over and put them on the map, like Edge, Orton, RVD, that feud with Jericho, insane.
Even Benoit.
Even
Benoit, like if you remember the triple threat match at WrestleMania 20, he took some mean bumps in that match, but we'll talk about down the line at some point. But so he put him over sort of, even though Triple H tapped out, but Shawn Michaels definitely helped out Benoit in that match for sure. Yeah, man. All right. So speaking of Benoit, we'll talk about that later this season. But I'm gonna wrap up episode 1 of season 3. That was a very interesting episode, right? Of the Chamber. We kind of went off the hinges as always, but it was good. It was good. It was good. It was fun. That's the beauty of podcasting, right? Versus
we can do whatever we want.
Exactly. So